All right, everybody. I was going to say happy Saturday night, but it ain't Saturday night anymore. Happy Sunday morning to us all. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. And the victory horns, you hear them. They are loud, they're proud, and they sound for the former UFC Welterweight champion, Kamaru Usman. First fight since October of 2023. A lot of questions surrounding what he would look like and what this fight with Joaquin Buckley would look like. And in the end, we got a lopsided win for Kamaru Usman. Dominates Joaquin Buckley for the first 20 minutes of this fight. Buckley shows a little bit of life in round 5. Was able to defend some takedowns. But in the end, Kamaru Usman gets it done. MMA Fighting's official scorecard was 49-46. 2 judges agreed. And some judge decided to give Joaquin Buckley 2 rounds. And I just don't know what fight that person was watching, but it is okay. We are here to react to UFC Atlanta, and boy, there was a lot of stuff happened and happened very, very slowly, it seemed, on this Saturday night at State Farm Arena. I am Mike Heck, and joining me to react to this card is the Prince of Positivity, my best friend, Alexander Kaley. AK, how are you doing after UFC Atlanta? I don't know what your gymnastics score was for this card, but something tells me it did not live up to what it probably was. Is that accurate?
It was, I'm a positive person. The Prince of Positivity, as someone called me. And it was boring as shit, man. I mean, I don't know, man. That was tough to get through. Anytime we see like a 13 or 14 fight card, we're always a little nervous. Even like the most stacked cards, when you see 13, 14 fights, you're like, okay, a lot has to go right for this lineup to like deliver to its full potential. And it's not like this card was like 13 straight up bangers. I think we all saw we liked the main card quite a bit. I think we saw potential on the prelims, some of which paid off like in a really fantastic way. So we'll get to that later. I think there's definitely some positives there. But the main card for the most part did not carry its weight. I say this is what happens sometimes when you make competitive matchups, but like I felt like they put some of these fighters in really good positions to show out and have dynamic performances, and they just didn't. Credit to their opponents, I guess, who they're not going in there to be walked over, right? So some guys put up really good competitive fights, and that's how it goes. But from a spectator standpoint, for a lot of people there live at State Farm Arena, I have to imagine that's not what you paid your like $600, $700 ticket for, however much it costs. I know, again, they're probably breaking another gate record today with whatever the ticket cost is. So, yeah, not the best card, my best friend. Not the best card. Always good to be outside the Apex for sure, but this felt like an Apexy card, which makes no sense, and yet so it is.
I ask you all not to be distracted by the Father's Day balloon floating around behind me. We have the fan on. It's 100 degrees in here. And my wife is like, gotta leave that on there for the show. I was like, fine. I don't want to. It's not a hill I'm going to die on. So we'll just leave it there. Just don't get too distracted by it. But let's start with the main event, which, by the way, AK, I got a gripe right off the bat. Kamaru Usman, Joaquin Buckley was a fight that certainly occurred. The 5th round was very fun, and it made things much more interesting than the first 4 rounds were. This is not the fight of the night. Rose Namajunas and Miranda Maverick was a much more entertaining fight than the main event was. Like, am I crazy that this one fight of the night and not the co-main event?
What were our other bonus winners?
We know Malcolm Wellmaker is getting one because that was one of the best knockouts of the year. The other one went to Jose Ochoa.
Sure.
For the finish of Cody Durden. I don't mind that one. I kind of thought Phil Rowe would get it for 2 reasons. One, because he was about to lose, and the UFC usually rewards a comeback knockout. And then 2, Phil Rowe at the post-fight press conference and like his emotional speech in the cage, like talking about his mom having cancer and stuff. I'm like, all right, you got to give this guy a bonus. That's just heartless if you don't give him one. And then they gave it to Jose Ochoa, which was a great finish. Like Jose Ochoa showed out tonight. That was a great performance. But I kind of felt like, there were only 3 finishes on the card. So you could have just like given the 3 finishes, the bonuses, and then did a fight of the night. But I thought Rose and Miranda, especially now finding out Miranda had a torn ACL in the fight too. Um, eh, I don't think the main event should have got it. It's not like the end of the world, but one round should not give you fight of the night.
Yeah, it almost feels like they're rewarding more like a moment. They're almost just it feels like they wanted to give Usman a performance bonus, like which would have been fine with me if they had just given him a performance bonus and then given
Yeah,
Phil Rowe the other performance bonus. You do the 4 performance bonuses, no fight of the night. I mean, it would have been tough for Rose and Miranda, who I thought put on a really good fight, but I don't think anyone would have been like heartbroken if that didn't win fight of the night. Like if they just went with the 4 performance bonuses, because that would have made a lot more sense. I think Usman was deserving of a $50,000 bonus tonight. That was vintage Kamaru Usman. I know it's a cliche, but there's no other way to put it. I think the crowd, for the most part, enjoyed it. Like we saw other grappling heavy contests where the crowd was not into it. I think they appreciated seeing Kamaru Usman again sort of turn back the clock. I'm sure they would have liked seeing some striking too, but they got some of that. Joaquin did have his moments, so that lit up the crowd as well. So maybe you can call it fight of the night, but I think it really goes more for Usman and him sort of overcoming this layoff, overcoming this losing streak, overcoming a current top 10 welterweight. So yeah, not really the fight of the night. If you did have to give one out, it should have gone to the co-main.
well, let's talk about this main event. Kamaru Usman comes back, first fight in almost 2 years, 38 years of age. He's watched this division just develop into kind of what it is right now, being super interesting. Maybe the deepest the division has been in maybe ever, if we really go top to bottom through the top 15 and seeing some of the guys coming up as well. And he comes back and he takes on Joaquin Buckley, who called him out. And I thought it was a brilliant call out after the Wonder Boy fight. Thought it was a brilliant call out after the Colby win. And this thing kind of built up heat throughout the week, built up heat when they got into the octagon, and then they started getting after it. And Kamaru Usman secures an incredibly easy takedown in round 1 and has 4 minutes to work and just makes Buckley pay for it. Busts him up, cuts him over the eye. Round 2, same exact thing happens. A relatively easy takedown for Usman in round 2. Round 3, rinse and repeat. Round 4, things got a little more interesting. Buckley decided to go southpaw a little bit. Usman eventually gets the takedown, ends up winning the round, and then round 5, Buckley is able to thwart some takedowns and land some good shots. Got Usman's attention with a couple of big punches at the end. But in the end, Kamaru Usman wins the fight. So let me ask you, AK, because this is something that I have been discussing internally with myself, and then Casey and I were kind of talking about this back and forth before we went live here. AK, is the headline in your mind with this fight, Kamaru Usman is back, baby, or Joaquin Buckley's good, he's just not that guy?
You're asking the Prince of Positivity. I got to focus on Usman. Kamaru Usman is back. I think Kamaru Usman is back. I was a huge doubter. I laid it out pretty plainly in my predictions for this event. I picked Buckley. My intro was all numbers, man. So this is let me just tell you going into this. 602. That's how many days it had been since Kamaru had fought. 819 was the last time he fought at welterweight, because of course he took that short notice bout with Khamzat Chimaev at middleweight. 1029 was the number of days since he was UFC champion. 1316 days was his most recent win before tonight. That was Colby Covington. It had been a long time, and I get it. You can't just take those numbers, because it's how many times did he fight during that time? What were those fights? It was just 3 fights. It was just Khamzat and it was Leon twice. And you really have to dig in a little deeper and remember, like, again, in the Khamzat fight, yeah, he lost, but after the first round, he looked pretty damn good. I mean, he gave Khamzat a real battle. Both Leon fights, the first one, definitely, he was winning 3 rounds to 1 before getting kicked in the head at the end. The second fight, I think a clear win for Leon, but it wasn't like a blowout. It wasn't like he just dominated Usman. It was still a competitive fight. So even though he had gone so long without winning, it's not like there was this precipitous drop off for Kamaru Usman, right? Like his losses were pretty, explicable. So for me, that is the focus here. That we had. He's 38 years old. Again, that's old for any division. I'd say for welterweight, it's definitely not a good place to be. But he looked to be in incredible shape. The gas tank was there. Maybe slowed down a little in the 5th, but I also would say he kind of knew he was up in the cards, and so he could kind of let the pedal off the gas a little bit, for better or for worse. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of what he did. Seeing him almost blubbering when he had to do I think a lot of us had that moment where you're crying, you're about to cry so much you can barely get the words out, and he pulled it all together, which was great. So for me, the focus is all on Usman. But just to touch upon the Buckley stuff, yes, now he's reached this point where you're questioning how good he is. How can he get past the number 7 ranking or whatever he was in the UFC? He was number 7 for us. I remember when he started, was 2 wins in as a welterweight. I was thinking this guy could be a top 10 guy. So my expectations were really, really high. And now I think they do have to be a little bit, you do have to rein them in. But I don't think Buckley's bad. He has a lot to work on. He is pretty deep into his career. I get it. It's not like he's some young prospect who can just totally change his game. It does, I think when he beat Colby and was on this great run, I think even though it was Colby and it wasn't like the most difficult opponent in that moment, we could all picture Buckley fighting for the title. It seemed really, really close. And now with one performance, it seems really, really far away. Fair or not?
Yeah, it's to me, it's column. There's some column A, some column B, and Buckley's very good. Like, to be in this division and be the 7th, 8th, he's a top 10 guy. Like, in this division right now, that is incredibly impressive. Like, it really is. He is very good. He is overachieved, at least in my eyes. But I think we found his ceiling tonight. I think we officially have gotten to the Buckley ceiling. And there's still big fights for him. There's still names for him. He could still fight. He could still do like him and Kevin Holland running it back. Like, people would love that. Him and Carlos Prates would be interesting, but that's like a really competitive fight. Him and Michael Morales would be really fun and interesting. Like, I would wonder what would happen with a fight like that. But then as you kind of look up the division and you see the styles of some of these guys, like Ian Machado Gary, I think that's a rough night for Buckley. Leon, maybe he could beat Leon, but I don't know if Leon just decides to be D1 Leon, what does that fight look like? Shavkat, he's going to have a horrible night with. Sean Brady, he's going to have a horrible night with. And then Bilal I would assume a Bilal fight would look similar to what we saw tonight. So again, still big fights. Still, he's one of the 7, 8, 9, 10 best guys in a super deep division. That's incredible. But unless something just insane happens, this performance showed me, okay, he's probably not going to fight for a belt. And that's okay. That is totally okay. Fighting guys who get to fight for belts when women who get to fight for belts in their division, the percentage is so low. Like, it's not easy to do. It's very, very difficult. And especially in a division like this. So I think I learned a lot about Buckley. Still very talented. He is dangerous at any point in this fight and in any fight that he's in. But I think we've discovered the ceiling. And it's still high. It's just now we know where it is. We know how many rungs we need to climb to actually put the hand in contact said ceiling with Joaquin Buckley. So yeah, good win for Kamaru Usman.
And there's no shame in it. There's no shame in it. But
No.
Buckley is part of this very exciting new wave of welterweight contenders that we keep talking about. Ian Machado, Gary Shavkat, Michael Morales, all these guys. But not all. We know this all the time, guys. With every crop of stars, is not everyone's going to get a title shot, right? Not everyone's gonna make it into that number 1 contender spot, number 2 contender spot. So Buckley just might be the odd man out, but that's okay. That there's nothing wrong with that. When we look back on this era of welterweights, like 15 years from now, if we're, God willing, if we're all alive, we'll look back on this era of welterweights and be like, oh yeah, remember this guy. Remember when Buckley went on that 6-fight win streak and made all these great call outs and saved his reputation. Like this is a positive MMA story. This is a positive MMA 100%. Story. Yeah. Yes, I'm sure that a lot of people will be disappointed. Like, man, this was his chance. He was beating all these veterans. He beats Wonder Boy. He beats Colby. Like, this is one more veteran, and like the best veteran of those 3, like by far, is Kamaru Usman. And if he had gotten past it, boy, the sky's the limit. But we always knew it was a possibility that this could trip him up. But this was a great matchup. I think this is what he wanted, or what he should have wanted anyway, after beating Colby. And you know what? You just fall short of that opportunity. But the door was there. He helped open that door for himself. Buckley did a lot of this good for himself. Just couldn't get past that last hump. So you're right, Mike. Again, nothing would surprise me in the sport anymore. Crazier things have happened, but realistically speaking, yeah, maybe this is the peak of the Buckley story, and that's not bad. That's not the worst thing.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't me like pooping on him. This is
No,
me just what I saw. Like, still very impressive what he's accomplished. Ranked number 7 in the UFC's rankings in this division, which is amazing. And he's going to be he's going to be a top 10 guy for years to come in this division. So that's a good place to be. It really is. Him and Michael Morales rocks. I know we're not going to match make for Buckley on to the next one, but that is absolutely the fight to make. That's the one we're doing. And I hope that's what we get. Now for Kamaru Usman, AK, I see people trying to like get real cute with this in the media space, trying to match make. This could not be more obvious. I know in Kamaru Usman's eyes, he thinks that this win is just going to insert him into a title fight between the winner of Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev. I think that is just insane. I think that is an insane line of thinking. I think he's going to need at least one more win before we even start having this conversation. And we do Bilal Muhammad. Like, I don't understand. This is so easy. And I'm actually stunned that Kamaru just keeps like no selling him. Go fight Bilal. There's heat there. This is the biggest fight for you that is at least realistic right now, because while you are a name and you are a former champion, and despite the strength of schedule, you are still 1-3 in your last 4 fights. And the win is against Buckley, who's very good and has a 6-fight win streak. He was ranked number 7, but you still get Sean Brady, who's just on a tear, just beat the tar out of Leon Edwards. I mean, just might have ended this man's career with the type of beating he gave him. Just ragdolled him. Shevchenko is up there, but we don't know what's going on with him. And then Bilal just lost the belt, but he had like a fight of the year contender in doing it. I think Usman's going to have to win one more before he gets a title fight. Why is he so hesitant for this Bilal fight? I just don't understand it. I feel like there's just no other way to go about this. We do Brady versus Gary. We do Usman versus Bilal. Shavkat's a wild card. We don't know what the hell is going on with that man. Like, this just seems so simple. Am I crazy?
yeah, let's spoil on to the next one for everyone. I think we're both going to agree that it should be Usman versus Bilal Muhammad. It's not a spoiler because you said this when Bilal lost. You said said he has to fight Usman because this is the logical thing to do. Yeah, there's so much heat there. They're former champions. It's age appropriate matchmaking. Usman still has this sort of this podcast appearance in his pocket that he and Cejudo keep saying they're going to release. It apparently got very contentious. They tried to have Bilal on the show so many months ago. So I don't know if like nothing happened and they just want to sweep that under the rug now. But they talked a lot about it and we're hinting like, oh, this was like a really like tense interview. We don't know if we should release it. And if that fight got booked, guys, there's your moment. You want to their podcast I think is doing pretty well, but you want to really put on the map. You hype up this Bilal clip. You play it. Hopefully, it is something that's like actually intriguing and sort of like explosive, and not just like barely audible exchange between Kamaru and Bilal. So all signs point to this, guys. This is easy booking. It should be on a pay-per-view. I have to admit, it was a little weird seeing Kamaru on a fight night card. This has to be his first time. I'm going to look right now. Boy, his first time on a
Maya?
You're close, yeah. Rafael dos Anjos, but same year, 2018. Yeah, 2018.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he headlined against Maya, and then I think he also headlined, yes, a tough finale against RDA. So yeah, he graduated from headlining fight nights to pay-per-views, and it was weird. It's weird. That was 7 years ago that Kamaru Usman fought on free TV. So I don't think we'll do that again. I think he's earned himself a pay-per-view spot. Depending on the strength of the card, it could even be him and Bilal is absolutely a co-main event fight. So yeah, UFC, just do it. Don't overthink this. Don't even wait till Tuesday. Don't even do the whole, we got to wait till Tuesday's matchmaking. Just announce it tomorrow. Announce it Sunday. Announce it Monday. Whatever. Just get this done. Let's go.
I mean, I don't know. Look, Usman just fought, so like, there's no way this could happen. And Bilal just had a war less than a month ago. If we could somehow, some way make this the co-main event for UFC 319 in Chicago, like that would just be incredible. That'd be a terrific co-main event. But it's too soon for Usman, I'm sure. And it's probably too soon for Bilal, if we're being honest, after that fight with JDM. So we'll see what happens there. I think Usman Bilal is about as obvious of matchmaking as it can be right now, and let's see how the chips fall. Rose Namajunas, AK, gets the win over Miranda Maverick. Good competitive fight. I really enjoyed this one because it was a slog, man. And I'll admit, I was watching. At one point I had 3 screens going at once because I had to watch my guy Paca Porter headline BKFC. Someone reminded me. I had no idea that fight was starting. There it is. No idea that BKFC card started so early. So someone was like, "Oh, it was right when Moutinho and Wellmaker were about to fight." Someone was like, "Dude, Parker's fighting." I thought, like, I'm disappointed in you. I'm like, "What? It's like 8:00. How is this possible?" And then I went and turned it on. And the second I turned it on, Parker knocked the dude out. So at least I got to see that. And I had Dirty Boxing on at the same time, and there's some weirdness going on with that card. And then the UFC main card happens, and first we start with the Paul Craig Hidalgo Bellato stuff, which is super weird, and Bellato with the floppity flop flop. Umar Sy and Alonzo Menafield, maybe the worst. It's one of the worst fights I've ever seen. I mean, it was just that bad. It was that bad. I'm like, oh my God, this is just real bad. Mansour Abdul Malik, Cody Brundage, not bad. Ended in a weird way, so it like left a bad taste in people's mouths. Heine Barcelos, Cody Garbrandt was fine. Edmund Shabazi and Andre Petrosky, boy, someone had asked earlier about who the middleweight champion could be now that RDR is going to fight for a UFC belt at some point, more than likely. Perhaps Edmund Shabazian is the new middleweight champion. A workman-like win, not the kind of like smart. If you're going to beat Andre Petrosky, that's how you do it. Just not thrilling. And then Rose Namajunas and Miranda Maverick, to me, were like the MVPs of this card because they boosted everything back up. They got us back on track. People were starting to fall asleep. They woke everybody up. Rose has a good first round, very close first round with Miranda Maverick. Second round gets all sorts of wild. Looks like Rose might get a submission. Then Miranda almost gets a submission. And we're like, oh man, did Miranda steal the round? And then round 3, Rose lands that little cheeky left hook. Miranda goes down, but it turns out it might be a torn ACL or an injury. There's just so much that happened there. I scored a 30-27 for Rose. But it was a competitive fight. And Rose did the thing, AK, at least in the octagon. We'll talk about her not doing the thing with the microphone after, but thoughts on Rose Namajunas' performance against Miranda Maverick in the co-main event?
Yeah, Rose looked great. I think the only unfortunate thing for Rose is that like we've already seen her go up against some of the top contenders, so this doesn't change. Like, how would she do? Would she do better in a rematch with Erin Blanchfield? Would she do better in a rematch with Manuel Figueroa? Like, I don't know. I'm not convinced. And again, not like, if people go back and watch that Manuel fight, it's not like Rose totally got destroyed. It's just in both those fights, you felt the size difference, you felt the strength difference, you felt like she wasn't going to win those fights. Now, Miranda Maverick's plenty strong, don't get me wrong, and it's probably part of the reason like she did well, why it was such a competitive fight. But it felt winnable too. There's a big experience gap. There's a big like quality of opposition gap. Just think of the huge fights that Rose has been in, and like the good solid fights that Miranda Maverick has been in, and that stuff matters, right? That stuff matters. She's I think Rose is about 4 or 5 years older than her, so there's a maturity issue as well. Like, it's if you ran this fight back 2 years from now, I could totally see Miranda Maverick taking it. I think Miranda is still not quite at her athletic peak yet. So I know, kind of to tie it to the main event, we're saying like, do we feel like we've seen Buckley's ceiling? Yes. I'm still not convinced we've seen Miranda Maverick's ceiling. I thought she looked really good in this fight. It sucks if she injured her leg. That was my initial thought when she got caught by that sort of hook was, I mean, we've seen fights that look like, punches that look like they don't land super hard, knock people down, but that's not what I thought this was. It looks like she stumbled, just a shot caught her. And then when she got up, she did seem to be having some issues with her knee. So let's hope it's just like a tweak or something, and that's not a torn ligament. Otherwise, it could be a while before we see Miranda Maverick again. But again, fortunately, she is young. She's got a lot going on at home. I know her and her husband or boyfriend. I know they recently are their parents now. They recently have a child. So she at least, if we don't see her for some time, we at least know there's still time for Miranda Maverick to like have a really good career. Because again, she's only 27. I think she turns 28 maybe in a couple months or next month. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. So props to Miranda for the tough fight, but big props to Rose Namajunas, who reminded us like when she's at her best is so fun to watch and it's really a great matchup for everyone. But Mike, honestly, part of me couldn't help thinking like, God, can we just get her back down to 115? I know the weight cut sucks. I know she's competitive at 125, but I feel like her only deficit up here is the size that she's given to some of her opponents. I feel like she could be champion again at 115. We know she's beaten Zhang Wei Li twice. Would she beat her a third time? I don't know. But there's nothing I've seen in any of her fights since she moved up to 125 that tells me like she could not go back down to 115 and continue to have amazing success. So it's a little odd for me.
Maverick post to Facebook, second round torn ACL. Yep.
Oh, second round. Oh, so before the shot, way before that shot. That sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks, man.
When I say like Rose did the thing in the octagon, I thought she did, and I'm with you, because here's the difference between where Rose is and where Kamaru Usman is. Where Kamaru Usman is, there's guys in front of him, certainly, and there's a lot of them who have like better cases at a title shot than he has right now. And those guys, all of those guys that are in front of him right now, have all agreed collectively, like, okay, Islam Makhachev is the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world. He is definitely, unequivocally, 1,000% moving up. So because we respect this man and what he has accomplished, and that he is the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world, we will step aside and we will let this man, we will pay this man the respect he deserves, and we will let him fight for the belt, because this is what the UFC wants. There is no effing way that they are going to sit there and let Kamaru Usman leapfrog them without fighting again. Apparently, Kamaru Usman was at the post-fight press conference and doubled down that, no, I'm fighting for the belt. I'm not fighting Bilal, which is absolutely insane. Now, for Rose, yes, from a meritocratic perspective, there are some fighters that are in front of her right now. Erin Blanchfield, who has a competitive close win over Rose not that long ago. There's Natty Ice. And then the lingering one is Zhang. But again, we don't know if she is actually moving up or not. She has told me in interviews that, yes, I want to move up. But the UFC keeps saying, well, we don't really want that right now. And Zhang's just kind of like looking at it like, all right, whatever the UFC wants, this is what I'm going to do. Right now, there is no clear cut, this is the next fight for Valentina Shevchenko. Because Rose is who she is, and because this division in particular needs a boost real bad, if Rose Namajunas got on the microphone and said, hey, Valentina, so much respect for you, but this is the fight people have been asking for the last 5 years. Best strawweight of all time against the best flyweight of all time. Let's do it. Let's fight for the belt. May the best woman win. If she had done that tonight, there is a world where I think the UFC would have been like, you know what? This might not make like sense, but it's going to make some dollars. Like Valentina Shevchenko versus Rose Namajunas, even still, is a big fight. I'm kind of surprised she didn't at least go the respectful route, AK. Instead, she went with, my dream is to fight for the belt, and whatever I need to do to get there, that's what I'll do. And I was like, oh, now you're not going to get it. I really wish she dropped Valentina's name at least to get the little soundbite there, but I don't know. That's just me. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm totally on that. You're right. You sold it in a good way, Mike. And if she maybe could have at least put it in their heads, but I also don't think that would have got a great reaction from social media, if that matters at all. The crowd I think would have loved it. I think the crowd would have got some pop from the crowd for sure. I don't know if the people. I think she would have taken some crap on social media. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But
I don't think she would have taken that much, man. Like there would be some people who'd be like, look, there's no way she should be fighting for the belt right now. But at the same token, if the UFC made that fight, is anyone going to be like, okay, I don't understand why they're doing this? Like, just think about it. What is the biggest fight? Valentina Zhang is the biggest fight you can make right now for Valentina, like realistically. But let's just say Zhang isn't moving up. Valentina versus Rose, from a business sense, is the biggest title fight you can make right now for Valentina Shevchenko. Is it not? Natty Ice, I'd love to see it. She deserves it. She deserves her opportunity. She deserves her day in court. But that's not a big fight. That is a co-main event. That's the first of 3 title fights kind of a fight. Valentina versus Rose is a big fight. Two women fighters who passed the public's test more than you'd think. So and this is a fight the UFC would be like, oh, okay, let's do it. Rose called for it. I love it. We love Rose. Let's do it.
The Erin Blanchfield fight was not long ago. It was not long ago.
But there's a lot of people who thought Rose won that fight.
Did they? I can't imagine. I think that's silly.
Yes.
I remember the fight. It wasn't like Erin like destroyed her. And I remember we were very annoyed with Erin for parts of that fight because I think she
Rose
chose
was winning, and then
she chose to stand too many times. Yeah, and we were like, "What are you doing, Erin? What are you doing? Just host this woman down." Yeah. But she lost. And that was not long ago. Manon was a while ago. Fine, and I guess Manon would be out of the picture because she got her shot. That's fine. She's out of the way. What really still kills Rose, I think, is the Carla fight. And I know that's the longest away of all the fights I just mentioned. That fight left a really, really bad taste in people's mouths. And honestly, that fight alone is what makes me think like the interest in having her fight Shev is not as high as it could be, and maybe should be. You're right, Mike, based on their reputation. So I don't know. I'm speaking for myself personally. I know you said if it can't be Zhang Weili, then it should be Rose. But like, even if for some reason Zhang didn't move up, it's just a fight everyone would still be thinking about. You know, even if it wasn't like Rose's fault that she got the opportunity instead of Zhang, everyone would just be thinking, why is this Zhang and not her? They wouldn't care that Rose beat her twice. That's what people want now. So I don't know. I don't know how much interest there is in that right now. I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I think it's I think the moment has passed. I just think the moment has passed. And it's not like tonight was such a spectacular performance that she called for it. It was good. It was a good performance, fun fight, but she wasn't so dominant that you're like, oh man, I'm really curious what will happen if she fights Valentina. Like, I don't know, just didn't do that for me.
But what's weird is like immediately after the Carla fight, when I interviewed Rose and she started teasing that she wanted to move to 125 and possibly fight Valentina Shevchenko, this is like literally before she fought at flyweight and just teased the move and would love to fight Valentina. People are like, oh shit. Okay, let's do this. That was like immediately after, like maybe a year after.
She lost though.
She did, but still.
The moment might have been earlier, but I think the moment has passed.
And I just want to be crystal clear here. I am not advocating that if I was the matchmaker, that I would make this fight. Because I wouldn't make this fight. The same reason I wouldn't put Kamaru Usman in the title fight right now. But if Rose did the thing and the UFC brass heard her do the thing, they would ponder it and maybe make it if it's not Zhang. That's all I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, like the UFC says we only make the fights the fans want to see. We know that's not true. We know that's not true. They want to make the fights that they think does the best business. And right now, women's MMA as a whole needs interesting things to happen. Is it Rose versus Valentina? I don't know. But Rose versus Valentina is a bigger fight, bottom line wise, than Valentina versus Natty Ice. Even though I would prefer the Natty Ice fight. That's all I'm trying to say. But Rose gets the win. Hope Miranda Maverick is doing better. We'll heal up and get back soon. We mentioned some of the other performances. And yeah, Michael Chiesa, Court McGee had a fight. Michael Chiesa won that fight. So
crowd loved it. Crowd loved it.
They sure did.
Before you move on, I'm sorry. I want to just real quick. Our own Jed Meshew did score Rose Namajunas over Blanchfield because you were talking about the scores. That fight was actually quite contentious.
He was very angry on that day. I remember he was very angry with Erin Blanchfield's performance that night. I don't know if this was No Bets Barred related, but he was not happy with what he saw. I'm sure if you go back to our Slack messages, you can find like he's a lot of like, what is Erin Blanchfield doing?
Sorry, you can move on. I just want to put that out there.
So I'm just gonna put this out real quick. Break the fourth wall. AK just kind of like yelled at me. I'm not done with the rankings yet.
Okay.
I'm at copy paste mode and like moving things around. So,
we're doing some behind the scenes.
I know Thad Gene. I know Thad Gene beat Jason Jackson. Thad Gene will be going into the rankings. Don't you worry.
Well,
Don't you worry.
let's ask get people's opinions on this then. Mike, where should we ask people where would they? Should I do a poll? Like where would they? So obviously, guys, we're talking about you can expect a rankings shake up this week now that Kamaru is back. He had been removed for inactivity. He fought Hamza, but that was at middleweight. So he had not fought at welterweight in however many, I think almost 2 years by this point. We have an 18-month cutoff. Kamaru was removed some time ago. So he was unranked. Now he beats Buckley, who was number 7 in our rankings. So clearly, Usman top 10. I'm wondering with you guys, where would you rank Usman? I'll do a poll. What should our ranges be here, guys? What should our ranges be? Obviously, I don't think you would rank him number 1, but let's see. How high? You guys can hear me click and clack. I apologize.
Where was Usman ranked before he?
He had to
be number 1. Was he ranked number 1?
Well, we ranked the champions still, so we would have had. I assume we would have had him number 2, only behind Leon. I could be wrong. I can't imagine who. Jed might have had Shavkat above him. I honestly.
I had Shavkat up there too.
Oh, okay. Okay. So he was 2 or 3.
He was top 4.
He was top 5.
Top 5 at worst.
Okay. I think our consensus was that he had to have been. I ended up at 2, but yeah, 2 or 3. I'm trying to find the welterweight rankings that he was still part of. Yeah, he would have been in the top 5. So I'm wondering, does he make the top 5 now? So let me ask the people: how high do you rank Kamaru Usman? Number 2, let's say number 3 to 4, number 5 to 6, and then 7 or lower, which I think would be a bit strange, but let's let the people. Let's let the people have their opinion. I should tell people what our rankings are going into this event, guys. We had, again, I said we had Buckley at 7. Here was our top 5 going into UFC Atlanta. Number 1, of course, JDM. Number 2, Bilal. Number 3, Shavkat. Number 4, Sean Brady. And number 5, Ian Machado Gary. So the question is, guys, would you guys rank Usman ahead of any of those guys right now? I think there's a strong argument to be made to do it. I also think there's arguments to be made not to do it because this is his first time fighting there in a long time. So I'm curious.
I'll let the peeps know. I will not be doing it.
You won't. He won't be in your top 5.
Usman will be number 6. He will be behind JDM, Shavkat, Bilal, Brady, Gary. That's what he'll be behind. Damn, but he'll be right there at 6.
Yeah. So mine right now is JDM, Bilal, Shavkat, Brady, Edwards. So I still have Edwards in the top 5.
I have Edwards behind it. Well.
Yeah, and I have Gary 6.
I do have Edwards behind Usman. I understand that Edwards does have 2 wins against Usman, but Edwards, he's lost bad twice in a row. Usman at least has a win over Leon, and he has a more recent win than Leon. So that I'm going to keep Usman at 6, but I could easily drop him to 7 because of the Edwards fights. But if they fought like right now, who I would pick Usman to beat. I would pick Usman to win.
True. I think most people would. Yeah. This is a tricky one. This MMA math is not so simple on this one. So I'll let the people speak because I still have to figure this out myself. I got to figure this out myself. This is a weird one. But
we have something else we need to discuss too. And we might as well just do this now. We're all here. It's an open forum. We have 3 of the rankings panel. Is MVP out of the welterweight rankings now?
He must have
2 middleweight fights in a row.
I know. When is his last?
He's taking up a spot. I want to move him. He's taking up a spot.
He's taking up a spot. He is taking a spot.
I bumped him out of my rankings, not from disrespect, because I don't think he's a welterweight anymore.
I mean, how high was he in your rankings anyway?
He's actually
decently high. I had MVP at.
I got him at
12.
6. I have him at 6.
What?
Yeah.
He loves MVP. He's always had Michael Page.
Not about being Gary.
I thought he beat Gary.
Right. No, I mean
I know, but I scored it for
MVP.
So I have him above Gary. Was that his last welterweight fight?
That was June. So that was still June 29th. So less than a year away. He competed at welterweight less than a year ago. But we may have to reconfigure.
Yeah,
but still,
and he's fighting Jared Cannonier. If he beats Jared Cannonier, he's going to be a top 10 middleweight. So
he can be ranked in both. He can be ranked at both, like Amanda Ribas. I'm just saying. Maybe he's the Amanda Ribas of the men.
That's what we call him. That's what we call him.
That's what most people call him, I think.
Yeah.
MVP stands for male Amanda Ribas. I believe, if my spelling is correct.
What?
Just think
I'll-
about it. Just think about it. No, just it works. It works. It makes sense. It's what time is it? It's almost 3 a.m.
Yeah, we're all over
Yeah,
this.
I think we, for going forward, we need to have some sort of policy of like, if someone fights in a different weight class 2 fights in a row, then we can kind of have a vote of like maybe this person,
Just-
because we've had this happen
Just-
before, right?
It's just vibes, basically. Now we're just taking them out because of vibes.
No, I think we
Like
can set a
Kevin-
number.
Doesn't feel like a
Yeah.
welterweight anymore.
I think we
I
can set a
kept-
number. I think it's 2 fights. 2 fights in a different weight class is like, yeah, okay, you're out. You are temporarily out.
Even if it's within 18 months, we can take you out after 2
That's what I'm
fights.
saying. I think we need to consider that. Yeah.
Fair,
Yeah.
fair.
The only reason I didn't take him out after the Sharabullah win was because he was so steadfast on, this is fun and it was great not cutting weight, but I'm a welterweight. My next fight will be at welterweight. 1,000,000% guaranteed. Stamp it. No erases. My next fight's going to be a welterweight.
Right.
And now he's fighting Jared Cannonier. So now he can pull him with all the movement, and I don't feel guilty about it. And if he beats Jared Cannonier, we put him back in. And if he fights at welterweight at all again, he jumps back in. It's okay. You're right back in. Let's go to the peeps. I wonder what they're saying on this lovely Sunday morning at 2:45 a.m.
Guys, we're 40 minutes into it. We're just going to blow past the 30 other decisions and weirdness on the card.
We didn't even talk
we
about
ran them
Jamie
down.
Lynn Horth and Vanessa Demopoulos. Jeez Louise.
Good win for Jamie Lynn Horth. I mean, yeah, that was a fight. That was a card. That was a card, and I got to tell you,
Okay,
looking at UFC Baku, I am fired the F up for that card.
early card. It's
I
like the opposite
love-
of this card.
Love
Early
Baku.
card. Is it less than 13 fights? It's a solid 12.
I don't even care.
12? No, I do
12
care.
fights.
I can't imagine someone being at State Farm Arena from the very first fight to the very last fight and having a good time tonight. I cannot imagine.
Yeah, unless you're
Like-
literally getting paid to do that, like, as an actual fan. Can you imagine sitting your one seat? I'm gonna sit right here. I paid my $500 in section,
I can't
228
do
row
that.
X. I'm gonna sit there and watch. That is hard to do.
13
look at
fights.
this card. Look at this fight card.
Oh, next
okay?
week. Next
We're
week.
talking about
Okay.
all right.
Dude.
Okay.
You know what the first fight of the night is? As of right this second? Your main event, AK. You don't even need to watch the rest of the card. Mo Usman versus Handy Abdelwahab is kicking things off as of right this second.
Oh.
That could obviously change. They can bump that to the co-main event at any time.
They should fight like 3 or 4 times.
The main card is like so good. It's so good. Naimov Bogdangrad's gonna be insane. Sadikov against Mota is gonna be wild. Miktabek Oralbai versus Tofik Masayev. God,
Yeah.
good lord. Tofik
Hold
Masayev
on.
and Casey's Rankins, if he wins, is gonna be the second ranked lightweight on planet Earth.
Oh,
He's
dude,
ranked
if
number
Toby
two.
if he wins big, oh yeah. You're out
Curtis
of there,
Williams,
Pimlet. You're
Rizvan
out, Pimlet.
Kudiyev.
You're gone. Dude,
Yeah.
if he wins big, I will bump Pimlet out just because.
We have hold on. We have Hamdi and Mo first and 2 women's bantamweight fights. This is
On the
Heaven?
what is
prelims.
this? What is this? Christmas? This is unbelievable. This is fantastic.
Yeah. And then we get Fiziev Baja Mondays in the co-main event, which absolutely slaps. And then
Whatever.
Jamal
It's
Hill
no
Khalil
Hamdi. It's no
Roundtree.
Hamdi Mo. It's no Hamdi Mo. But yeah, sorry.
I
We like
love
that sort
I
of thing.
love this Baku card. I like this card way better than the Atlanta card. I like it way better. So
Oh
I'm
no,
very
no,
fired up for this.
it's a better card. We know that. I was just
No, it's definitely a better card.
yeah. On paper,
stuff.
the Atlanta card wasn't. It had names, like okay, I'm gonna recognize these dudes, but it's just okay, it was what it was.
The third, the fight people wanted to watch more than anything outside of the co-main event was Chris Moutinho and Malcolm Wellmaker. That tells you what a UFC Atlanta was.
Before we go to the comments, can we get everyone's opinion on the Bellato experience?
Oh man, I got to see some other angle. I see a version float around. People are saying the kick didn't really catch him, and I admit I probably only saw it in like full speed. I see some people going going to a slow motion replay and saying it just glanced him. Strange scenes, man. Strange scenes. I mean, when I was doing the write up for it, I was just laughing because I was like, how did I phrase it? I was like, this fight was already done under strange circumstances because it was rescheduled due to Bellato getting herpes last time, which is just fantastic.
That's not even the weirdest part about this.
Now, now it's not.
whatever.
It's been greatly surpassed. Oh man, his reactions were so they were confusing, but like fights are weird, right? Weird stuff happens in fights. Yes, it looked a bit odd that he didn't react right away to the kick. He went down. He kind of looks at the ref. He flops back. He suddenly resuscitates back to life. He does the "oh, I'm so hurt, I'm grappling the referee" thing. Like, but that to me is like the sign of a guy that is genuinely disoriented.
Yeah, like,
he can't be that well
like,
versed in MMA,
acting,
acting and chicanery. And he's like, "Oh my god, they're not buying it. I better grab the ref. Oh, they're not buying it. I better." If he is, then he deserves the no contest.
I think it was a real legitimate. He was legitimately hurt because it was just so weird. Like, it's like, if you're gonna fake it, you fake it like it looks like, oh god, I'm hurt. You know, you don't fake it like, hey ref, then I don't. It was weird. It gave me that when Shane Burgos got knocked out by Emmett, maybe, who was it? When he got hit hard and he kind of stood there for a little bit.
No, it was
Barboza.
Edson Barboza.
Sorry, Barboza. But the Burgos knockout, it's just like weird things happen. I don't know if weird things happen. Your brain acts weird. You wake up, you're kind of not there. You don't understand anything. I've never been knocked out that bad where the person in front of me, I think that's the guy trying to kill me, but it's the ref. So I don't know what it's like. It was weird. I don't know. I was actually, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know if we're gonna get a real answer on this. It was weird for sure.
He has to have been genuinely disoriented. Otherwise he put on a real like performance that again is worthy of a DQ, which he was probably hoping for, or a no contest. You know, not getting knocked out. I see people showing the replay like it's slow motion. I'm not seeing a glancing blow. It looks to me like he really got kicked in the face, but maybe I'm a sucker. Mike, I don't know. Mike, did you see something where you were a little like it was a little sus to you?
I'm open to all discussion. The way I see it is if this is a trial in front of peers, like a jury who watched it and like saw the world and everything, Bellato's found guilty of flopping. Like that's just how it's gonna play out in a court of law.
I've never seen anyone flop like that. That's the craziest part. Like, why would we've seen flopping? That's not how you fake.
I mean,
flop.
all the fighters are all saying it. So like, if they're saying it, then like we have to consider it. Is kind of how I look at it. So I will listen to all arguments, and that's just kind of where I'm at right now. But I think in the court of public opinion, it's not looking good for Mr. Bellato, who's having the weirdest start to a UFC run maybe in the history of the UFC.
I don't know if he would have been found guilty in like a criminal trial, Mike, but he probably, when they went after him in the civil suit later, they probably would have found him liable for flopping. He would have been found liable. Not the same thing.
100%.
Not the same thing as
Yeah.
He would have been found liable and would have had to pay some sort of fee. But I don't think I would give him jail time for that. It's a weird. Fights are strange, guys. I have seen so many weird knockouts that didn't seem like knockouts. I've seen hits that looks like they should have knocked someone out.
Guys
that,
barely get touched. I'm saying they're out cold. Hits you in the right spot.
We see weird stuff.
Yeah.
The knockdown in the Namajunas Maverick fight, we didn't know what that was. We didn't know that she'd had a knee injury heading into the third round. Like that looked like a weird knockdown. And I think according to UFC stats, I'm pretty sure they scored a knockdown. But now we know it kind of wasn't a knockdown. Her leg just gave out on her. So
yeah,
we see so much crazy stuff in MMA. This looked, I admit, looked very comical. I do feel a bit bad for Bellato because he now has two incredible memes. He got the herpes and this extended performance, let's put it that way, of after getting legitimately upkicked. I still feel like he got legitimately upkicked.
It was, dude. That's Paul Crass, a 205-pound athlete, kicking you right here. That's not a spot you want to get hit. Do they run it back? Do we see the trilogy?
Yes.
I say,
please.
yeah, they have to do the trilogy. They have to do the trilogy. That's all I want now.
Yeah.
Just to see
just
what
do-
could possibly happen next.
Yes,
I don't know what could
exactly.
happen next.
Exactly.
Let's just do a card full of rematches. We could put Mansoor and Cody Brundage on there.
No.
We have them run it back. Like, let's get some finality on some of these rivalries here.
All right.
God,
let's go to
Atlanta was a
questions.
tough card. Jesus Christ, this is a tough one.
Okay, you're so low in your shot. I'm always trying to give you more. Like,
I'm slouching a bit, aren't I? Hold on. You want me to, let me straighten up. Watch
step
out. It's going to mess
side,
up my
yeah.
angle. Hold on. Ah!
there you go. All right.
There we go. Sorry, guys. Terrible posture.
Yeah. All right. Let's get some super chats real quick before, because it's late.
Shouldn't be next, but JDM versus Usman is compelling.
It's compelling as in Usman's a star and looked great tonight, but I guarantee you JDM's takedown defense is better than Joaquin Buckley's. That's
Yeah.
all I'll say
You
about
want
that.
to know what makes that fight compelling? If Kamaru Usman beats Bilal Muhammad the way he beat Joaquin Buckley tonight, then
There you
that
go.
fight's compelling.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's not, like, if they booked it, like, whatever, but you go out there and do that to Bilal, then I'm all in on this fight. All in.
I'm not all in on the fight. I mean, I think the fight's the same. It's just there's just two different skill sets to beat Bilal versus beat JDM. But either way, Usman needs to get one more win, regardless.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yes.
That's all. I think that's all that really matters. But yeah. All right. Thank you, Snaz. And one more super chat. $10 super chat from Stephen K.
Always appreciate you guys for these post shows, only because holy shit, did that feel like an 11 p.m. PFL card? Wow. See, at least PFL had the decency to give us a 4-fight 11 p.m. main card.
Yeah,
And
I
a
think their
6-fight one.
Dude, I think their main card this week was more watchable than this. Arguably, but they had some good highlights on that PFL main card. The main was like I don't know, we'll see, but I don't know if I want to judge. It was fine, but the rest of the card, they had some good highlights. I don't know if you can even say that about this main card. All
Yeah,
decisions,
but see, here's
yeah.
the thing, and it's very fair to say, the UFC might win by default because, as Jed so nicely pointed out on Twitter, having Logan Storley fight on a Thursday night at midnight, I believe he said it should be a war crime, were his exact words. I'm not ready to go that far, but Logan Storley did not fight on this UFC card tonight, and that gives the UFC a little bit of a leg up. Slightly.
How about that Umalatov though? Huh? How about that Umalatov, guys? Come on, give me some. Let's see some Umalatov love.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Tough week for MMA.
Yeah. I want this comment. I don't know. Tell me what you think about this comment.
Snoozman is back.
Now, I know we were excited that Usman looked good tonight, but is that version, because I haven't heard this name in a while. I kind of forgot about that nickname. And I remember that was like basically his thing. What was it? What was the fight? I fought 70%, and because it was so long ago. Yeah. What? Is that? Do we have that Usman? Because that Usman wasn't exciting. The fans were not excited about him. They only got excited, during his title run, but the road to the title was very, you were there. It was just.
Oh, that was Emil Weber Meek. You guys remember Emil Weber Meek? That was a 70% fight. Very excited. I remember Emil Weber Meek because he came in with a lot of hype. He had I think before the UFC, two sick knockouts in the regional scene, and then obviously he ran into a really strong wrestler and just got neutralized. And yes, there was a lot of boos for Kamaru that night, and he's like, "That was 70%. That was 70% of what I can do." And it's like, "Oh, Kamaru."
Yeah, that became
don't become a
meme at that time.
Don't become a meme.
So it was fun. It's I heard that interview, that post-fight interview, and I saw the world just shit on him for it. I actually got a great kick out of that because I'd interviewed him 2 wins before that, and he said he was only at 40% of where he was after those wins.
Wow.
Literally. I think I actually wrote an article that said Kamaru Usman's only 40% of what he's going to be for one of the sites I was working for at the time after that conversation. And then he went from 70. So I was like, all right, well, he's evolving. He went from 40 to 70 in 2 or 3 fights. So he's moving on up. So I didn't think he was lying.
If only you could have been in the cage with him that night, Mike, to explain that to
He
people.
did the, he did the thing, AK. He did
I'm sure the
thing.
crowd. That was a case where like Kamaru's like an intelligent, eloquent guy. Like that was too intelligent.
Too
That's too
honest.
intelligent thing to say. The crowd
Yeah.
is not going to take that the right way. Um,
And
But yeah, as
Dana
far as
made
the-
fun of it. Dana was like
He did,
riding
hated
him on
it.
that. Yeah, Dana
hated
it.
hearing that. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? As far as the snoozman stuff goes, like with a different crowd and a different situation, this probably would have gotten some boos. Like I said, I
It
think
did get
he-
boos. They were
Oh,
definitely
were they
boos.
booing a lot? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
I didn't have the
In
audio
the main
fully
event, there
on.
were.
I mean, it wasn't.
I,
They weren't like booing him out of the building, but they
Yeah.
were definitely boos.
Yeah.
Like when he was getting takedowns, especially after that first round, because people realize that if he takes Buckley down, he's not getting up.
Yeah.
Like the round is over. So
Right.
people were booing. Like it wasn't like 16,000 strong, like booing and throwing cups at him, but they were booing. I was live blogging and I had the volume up
okay.
so I could like live blog and hear what was going on.
Mhm.
There were definitely boos.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
boos.
I guess
I'm saying if
back.
Buckley didn't make those adjustments, I mean, it could have been a really bad 25 minutes. I mean, Buckley.
Yeah, and that's why I was
Buckley
saying like
made extra
that's
50
why the
grand
co-main
for-
event should have won fight of the night. I had someone on Twitter saying that it was like a crazy ass take for me to say that, and I was like, "What are you talking about? Like the co-main event from start to finish was a more exciting fight and a more competitive fight." And the response I got, and which just ends the conversation. There's no need to respond because we understand like what kind of fan this is. Quote: Rose was absolutely terrible. Gave the same underwhelming performance against Carla Esparza. So that ends the conversation.
All right.
Game over. There is no need
Moving
to
on.
respond anymore. That's just
Moving on.
your argument is defeated. So crazy. Next.
Thanks.
Buckley faced someone as athletic as him with more experience. It's part of the game to lose, but I bet you in 2 or 3 years, Buckley is either champ or fights for the belt, but I also believe Usman can win the title.
That's a lot to
I'll
unpack
take
there.
that. I mean, there's so many caveats with all of this. I would take that bet that in 2 to 3 years. I would take the bet that in 2 to 3 years he doesn't fight for the belt or is not champ. But again, that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't make him a bad fighter.
So,
Um,
my argument for Buckley though would be that I could picture him as long as he doesn't end up getting thrown right back into the Shark Tank with the Shavkats, the Machado Garys, like all the other contenders, which I'm sure that's what he wants. If he was fortunate enough to get like maybe some people lower and not be used as a stepping stone for like a Michael Morales or something.
but he already
if he-
fought all those guys. That's
He
the
did.
problem.
He did.
He already fought the Wonder Boys and all those dudes. Like,
Oh, I
he's
don't
gonna
mean
have
them.
to
I
fight.
mean, let me
Yeah,
see.
he's gonna have to
Hold
fight
on.
Michael. He's gonna have to fight Michael Morales. Like that's the fight he's gonna have to take. He
Let-
already
let me
got
find
Colby
some-
and
some-
Usman. Like Burns. Like no, I have no interest. I don't think anybody has any interest in watching Gilbert Burns fight Joaquin Buckley.
Oh, I'm
The
talking
only ones
outside.
that make sense. Yeah,
I'm talking
Prochus.
outside top 15.
Oh, outside of top 15?
Yeah.
Oh, we know that's not gonna happen.
I'm talking about like a Jeff Neal. Well, he's in the top 15. Let's
Top
say
15.
Vicente Luque already beat. Like you said, Carlos Pratis. Yes, very interesting.
Prochus is
RDA?
at one. Kevin Holland RDA.
Kevin Holland rematch would be nice. RDA.
You just watched an RDA fight. You just watched Jeff Neal RDA fight not that long ago, and it was like the saddest thing we ever watched because RDA got like severely injured in that fight.
That was yeah.
I'm just trying to find names that like he could reach. Daniel Rodriguez or Michael Chiesa. That'd be
He's probably he's making like at this point he's probably he's main eventing cards now. So he's probably making like good money. So he's not gonna take it that big of a step back. I mean, Chiesa like maybe, but I have no interest in that. I would say best case scenario for Buckley, and even this could be a tough one. The Kevin Holland rematch. He fought Holland like on short notice for his UFC debut. Like on days that I don't even think he had really had a corner that fight because it happened so quickly and because of like the timing of it happened during like the COVID era and all during Kevin Holland's like 5-0 fighter of the year campaign that year. Like you could do that. Like Kevin's on a nice little run, back-to-back wins, finish Vicente Luque as well. Like that would make sense.
Yeah.
But that's far back as you could go with him. Like
I don't know
you're
who
in
the names
tank
are.
then.
I don't know who the names are, but I'm saying if he can find a way to string together, get another win streak, let's say 2 or 3 wins, he's the kind of guy that they would call to like if they really need like a replacement guy for a title fight. I don't think he ever fights his way to like, oh, I am the guy, you have to give me the shot. I think that's completely out the window. But I think if in the next 2 years he can stay in the winner's circle, I can see a world where it's like, well, this dude's injured. These 2 people have fought the champion recently, blah, 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 all this. We need an opponent to fight in 6 weeks or something. Buckley gets the call. So that's really not the most. I'm not giving him a lot of praise here, but I'm just saying if he were to fight for a title shot, get a title shot, that's kind of the circumstance that's going to happen under. There's just other options off the table, and he's like, oh, look, he's on a 3-fight win streak. People like Joaquin Buckley. He knows how to sell a fight. Let's put him in there. So yeah, but no, he never becomes like like a top 3 contender. I just don't see that happening.
So you're saying there's a chance, AK?
Yeah.
There's always is. There always is.
I mean, look. Who knows?
I actually feel Buckley has. I don't think he's going to win the belt, but I think he has a chance in 2 to 3 years to fight for the title more than I believe Usman can win the title at his age.
Oh, if I had to pick one, yes, if I had to pick one, I say Buckley fighting for a title is more likely than Usman getting.
And then Buckley, obviously Buckley could win. He hits hard. You never know. But man, what an amazing career comeback if Usman can not only get a title shot but win a title at that age. Mm-hmm. That will be. It would be
pretty incredible.
That would be one. That's why the Snoozman thing is interesting to me because it doesn't really matter at this point because at that point he had no story. So you can be boring. He can actually fight boring now as long as he wins because the story of the Usman kind of career comeback is what sells, not the actual fight itself. So yeah, that's why he doesn't need to be exciting anymore. We want him to be exciting, but as far as like moving up to that championship fight, he just has to get that W. So it's just interesting. I mean, I'm not trying to throw away any fighter right now. I'm not. I still think Buckley has a chance. There's still a chance.
Right. He needs to. I mean, he needs to get he needs to get the singlet on, and just go, like just wrestle 3 dudes at once for like the next year, and then like when I see that, then I'll. Okay, you're trying to shore up this gaping hole in your game.
And big fight experience, 5-round big fight experience is that's a big chunk of experience he didn't have tonight, and even Usman noted that experience won the fight tonight for him. So I'm gonna be positive. He
just had a main event before this, so he's been there.
That's Colby, right?
Right, but it's supposed to be Gary too, so he was preparing.
But that didn't happen. It was
still a main. Yeah, but it was still a main event. Like you're still in a 5-round fight.
That's Colby. This is Usman. Usman looked good tonight. Colby, we know Colby's like, and I think
even Colby was taking him down in that fight. Colby was taking him down. He was starting to get something. I'm not saying he was going to win, but he was starting to get takedowns.
But and that's what I feel. I feel like Buckley I think actually the Colby fight actually gave him too much confidence in a weird way. He take me down, but I will get up. I think he kind of felt, I'm gonna get up because every time those rounds ended, Buckley's like, whatever. I still got 4 more rounds, And Buckley's confidence looked great all the way till the last second of the fight, So I think maybe the ease that he beat Colby, and nothing's easy, but I think the ease that he beat Colby with, maybe re-looking at things, maybe gave him a little bit too much confidence in his training camp going into the Usman fight. Because I think we all kind of
look at what he's done. More. Look at what this man has done. If you told me after he beat Nursultan Rudzabayev that he'd be the 7th ranked welterweight,
it's shocking. Yeah,
18 months later, I'd be like, I'll bet you $1 billion that's not true, and I'd be poor right now. And look what he's done. Like this is what he has done is incredible. Mm-hmm. Like me saying that we have his ceiling is not me shit talking him. It's me just being so impressed by the turnaround and what this man accomplished to get to the point where he's fighting Kamaru Usman in a main event fight. That's great. Like that, there's no way I saw that coming. And look at what he's done. Like this is spectacular. But another thing we need to really take into consideration here is yes, Buckley is 31. but Buckley has had more professional mixed martial arts fights than Kamaru Usman has.
That is wild.
And that's crazy to think about. He is battle tested. He's got miles on him for even at 31 and in great physical condition and all that. The man has miles on him. So while he's 31 in age, he's probably like 34 in fight years, which still gives him like 3, 4, 5 more years because of like how physically fit he is. But it's not like he's 11-1 right now. He's 21-7. Like he's had a lot of fights.
It will catch up. Yeah, sure. You know what the one matchup we're not thinking about? Hear me out. Buckley versus Conor McGregor.
Next question.
You know what? That fight might be more realistic to go.
Hey, who knows? Who knows?
Maybe Buckley is the man to get Conor out of retirement. But yeah, I don't think Conor wants any anywhere near that man. That's so funny. He should call it Michael Chandler. That'd be funny. Just steal Conor's food and maybe Conor will get mad at him.
All right, 2 last super chats and we are going to let these gentlemen go to bed.
Yeah, Jesus. Zhang beats Val. Rose beats Zhang. Ooh, Terrence bringing the heat.
I like it, Terrence. I like it.
What's your 26 spoiler? What is that?
2026.
Oh.
Zhang beats Val, and then Rose wins the flyweight title by beating Zhang for a 3rd time. Now
that would be really
that's a story, baby.
There, you know what, Mike? There is your logic to Rose sticking around at 125, right? You know what? I'm just waiting for Zhang to come to me. I'm waiting for Zhang to come to me. I couldn't convince them to give me a 3rd shot at Zhang at 115.
That would be wild.
Twice.
This isn't that great.
That would be pretty crazy.
Oh yeah. AK, work on your posture. You keep sinking. I can't.
I don't. It might be the chair too. The chair's already as low as it can go.
It's the card, man. It's the card.
I might have a slippery bum.
And our last super chat before we go to sleep. Jeez. Okay.
Tyler versus Lena, Nico versus Smith. Van versus Royval. Thoughts and picks. Casey and I talked about this on the People's Pre-Fight Show. Wicked weird matchmaking for Peyton. And I'm sure like that's going to be the biggest talking point of all of this. Jacoby Smith is going to destroy Nico Price. We all know why this fight is happening. Van versus Raw Dog, man. That is fun as hell. Could be a little much too soon, but maybe it isn't.
Raw Dog, but who knows? Who knows?
Dude, Van is so good, man. He's really good. I think Royval is going to win, but that fight's going to rule. But AK, as one half of the greatest matchmaking show of all time in MMA, Peyton Talbot versus Felipe Lima? Did you see this coming from a mile away? Because I sure as hell didn't.
You should be happy. I know he's on your fantasy team. I know I know the fantasy you're like out of contention at this point, but it's nice. At least you might still get still get points.
Jesus.
You may get points out of Talbot yet. You may get points out of the young man yet.
No.
Is it after? When's that date?
No, this is June 28th. June 28th. This is 217.
It's on the last card. So I'm gonna get 2 Peyton Talbot fights and probably 0 points.
So I'm just saying you may want to.
No.
You may want to. He might win. I don't know.
That negative. Look, hey, Ronnie Barcelos is good. Look what he did tonight. He looked great tonight against Garbrandt. So I was like, it's late. Jeez.
But the thing is, like, I have Lima in the top 25 of the UFC featherweight division right now. I have
it's a bantamweight fight.
It's a bantamweight. Oh boy,
yeah, he's going. This is his first bantamweight.
Felipe
fight
is going down. Maybe that's a good thing for Talbot. Then maybe the weight cut it won't be good for Lima, or he's going to get the best version of Felipe Lima we've seen yet, which is kind of scary because the guy's really good. Yeah, it's not what we booked, Mike. I don't remember if we did a matchup for Talbot, but I would not. That's not the direction I would have gone in. Like I would have taken someone fresh.
Whoever is like the lowest ranked bantamweight in the world is who I picked for Talbot.
Something like that, like because Peyton is obviously a talent. He's also a marketable talent. The guy is hanging out with Frank Ocean. the guy like can appeal to a different, like a young demographic. Like again, I'm not hip and cool. I don't understand half the things that
What?
Peyton Talbot is doing on his social. I believe it or not, I'm not hip and cool. I don't understand half the things that Peyton Talbot is doing on social media. I have to ask Jose half the time, like, what does this mean? What did Peyton Talbot mean in this video? And like, I don't think he understands either, but at least he can fake it. So anyway, we need unique stars. We need guys who are a little different. Like that is what makes MMA interesting. If anything, I think tonight's Atlanta card, I don't agree with Ant Evans all the time. Like, Ant Evans is a lifer in this game. And he had a tweet I just saw recently just calling this card boring and saying, God, everyone just fights the same now. Everyone has the same kind of like just the same tone. Like
they all wear the same outfit.
They all wear, and he's not wrong. Like he's really not wrong. Even if you want to criticize him and other members of the media for like, oh, they're just too hard in the UFC. They hate everything the UFC does. I don't know if you could watch Atlanta today and not be like, yeah, man, a lot of these people are so indistinguishable from one another. Like Mansour Abdul Malik Cody Brundage fight was not unlike the Alonzo Menafield Umar Sy fight, was not unlike the Michael Chiesa Court McGee fight. Like, and that's not good. This is bad for the business, right? They were not unlike the Jamie Lynn Horth Vanessa Demopoulos fight. And like physically, obviously, I'm looking at them, they could be more different. But if you just took their silhouettes and you ran all those fights together, you'd be like, I can't tell who's who. Like these fights are just so bland. But so you need guys like
they made the biggest gate ever tonight.
Oh so man, another record. The numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie.
We love seeing the same fighters over and over and over and over and over.
You need guys like Peyton Talbot who are unique, who are going to bring something different, and you need to match stuff a little bit smarter than this. But maybe he shocks us. Maybe he smokes Felipe Lima and just that hype train right back on track. I don't know. Not where I would have gone with it though. Not where I would have done it. The poll, Casey, the poll.
Oh,
the poll.
I will end music.
Oh, okay, you play the music, yeah.
I didn't know.
I'll end the poll now. I got a very good sample size. 43% saying Kamaru's in that 3 to 4 range. 26% say up to number 2. So a quarter of the people are saying he's the number 2 guy again. The number 2 welterweight in the world. Number 2, 26% said that. 1 out of 4 people. 1 out of 4 also said number 5 to 6, 24%. And 5% 7 or lower. 5. So there's a few people who won't put him even near that top 5. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I wonder the UFC will do. I think the UFC. I'll predict UFC will put him in their top 5. He will be back in the UFC's top 5.
He was already at 5. He's already there.
Oh, they never took him out.
No.
Good one, AK. Good one.
Easy prediction.
Stipe was ranked. Stipe was ranked at heavyweight when he fought John.
Bold prediction, AK. Bold prediction.
Casey, I nailed it. Casey, I nailed it. I nailed it.
You're absolutely nailed it. You're so smart. AK, get some sleep. I'll see you in about 6.5 hours as we matchmake following this card. And then we're on the road to UFC Baku. I will have interviews with Rafael Fiziev, Ignacio Bahamondes, and Khalil Roundtree to get you ready for Baku coming up next week. So stick with us at MMAfighting.com. Good night, everybody.